be smart, make it out here. I'll set my compass to 3 1/4. And I kind of get about the right distance away before I decide where I'm going to draw it. That's right near the outside. All right, so I'll draw one big circle out there. Notice I'm holding the top. Now I'm not holding my compass down here. I hold it up at the top. That's how draftspeople really do it. And then I'm going to make the other circle. And we have a dot for the center. That's important to have that. The other circle is 1 inch. Oops, I made a mistake. I said 1 1/4 when I was writing upside down. It's 1 3/4. So we're going to make the other circle 1 3/4. Get it down approximately before I start trying to measure it. So about 1 3/4 there. Put it on here. Put the sharp point on the 0. It makes it easier. And I'll just crank it down to 1 3/4. There we go. So I'll make that circle. Now, don't make it out here. Make it off in a corner somewhere. This, and we got to make sure it doesn't touch there. There we go. All right, that's nice. Take my straight edge going through the center of the circle. Anywhere through the center of the circle gives you a diameter. I'll make my diameter right. Yeah, I'll do it. I have a reason for doing it right here. I'll do it right here. Here's my diameter. Okay, so this is going to be the edge we start with. This will be an edge that we're actually going to cut right there. Now we have to measure 180 degrees, so you get out the protractor. I mean, not 180. That's 180 there. We need to go to 193. So what's 193 minus 180? 13. So we need to go another 13 degrees past there. So I'm keeping the center of the protractor on the center of the circle. I'm moving 13 degrees past here. And I'll make a mark on that line right there. So that is going to be where we glue. Depending on the height and the base, this could be anywhere from going almost all the way around for a very squat cone to being really skinny for a pointy, narrow cone. Ours is kind of halfway in between, so I'm going right out to there. So this angle from here to here is based on a calculation. It's not going to look just like this for yours. Okay, I'm going to cut with scissors around here. This is going to be my glue tab, so I'll put it on right there. Now the glue tab, we don't want to go exactly to the middle. I'm going to make it kind of long like this and about like that. That'll be the glue tab. So that's going to get cut, and we do not fold this. Everything's going to get cut except this outside edge needs to be pressed rather hard. It's hard to do that. I'm going to just go around here and press that outside edge. Well, I only need to do it in this part here. I'm going to press that outside edge very carefully because that's going to be my fold line. I can't do it with a straight edge because it's curved. So follow your line in little short segments. Your hand naturally turns in an arc like that, so you can turn it, get on your hand on the inside, it's better. Right. Ready to cut now. We're not going to cut right up to that green line because that's where our glue tabs are going. So I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch away. You can draw a line for yourself if you want it first. Now I'm going to cut in here. That's where we're going to be gluing to, but we don't want to cut that line. And I'm going to cut down here and then right into the center there. I'll cut this line here. This part you could do with a utility knife. Right, so please note, the angle from this edge around to this line is the angle we want, and the glue tab goes past that. I'll start cutting the tabs off. So this time I'll trim them like before. Not an exact science. Make them too big, they will look ugly. If you make them too small, they'll take forever. Confused about that. I do want to make sure I know where the center is, so I'm going to keep making a mark there. We're going to be folding this, so it's tricky to fold this around without bending it, but you've got to go like that. That's the trickiest part, is doing that fold without creasing. You don't want to crease it. So I'm just going to bend it around a little further than I need to, try and give it a nice even curve. It's really the hardest part of the whole thing. Okay, now I haven't finished these cuts here, so go back to the direction, cut them off, snip, snip. The little points of these triangles I'm cutting out should fit right into that folding line. Remember how before I drew a line, I'm going to transpose this line to the other side, so I'm going to make a mark right there. And then over here, I'm going to make sure I get the center there, drawn across here. And I'm going to take my straight edge, or just the edge or something straight, and draw that line in here. From there down to here. It's important to know where you're folding to, because when you bring this together, you want to make sure you match up exactly to that line that you pinned, so careful to measure. Now, since you already drew that line around, you can now fold these across. You drew the line with the ballpoint pen to score these corners, so now you can fold them up. Fold them all up. Don't skimp on this part, actually fold them up. Get them all the way up. Better to fold them up and then fold them back. If you don't fold them enough, you get an ugly crease. We want pretty here. This is architect's work. Architects don't do sloppy jobs. Very careful jobs. Things have to look pretty, because our test fit it, make sure this all goes together here. We have some interference right here. I'm going to cut a little bit more off this tab, because we don't need the tab everywhere in there, so I'll cut it up this way a little bit. I don't want these darts to go into the tab. There we go. Now I'm going to put glue between this edge and here on this tab. Smear it around. Again, I wish I had a damp towel to clean my finger off with. I'll get this right over to that edge so it sticks down. I didn't get quite enough glue over there. I'm going to risk smearing some color on the outside. You will eventually can. Here we go. If we go in like this, and now I'm going to push. Get down, hold it together. You got to get up near the tip as well as down near the base. So I'm holding this. See how that opened up? You don't want that to be open. You want it to be closed, and it's going to take some patience. There's a bit of pressure on the paper trying to go where it wants to go. You have to force it to be where you want it to be. And I'm trying to hew it to that line, make it go right to that line that I drew, and pushing up here too. It tries to get apart up here especially, so I really have to keep one finger up inside the cone and one outside, pushing them together. It's starting to set up, but I can't let go now because it will lose its tack. I'm really, especially up to this point, I'm actually taking my fingernail and pushing it together. And still the little dampness in there will help mold it into shape. Okay. These need to fold down. They shouldn't be tucked in, but they don't want to stick down too far. Look, get that. And I can push those down. I'm going to test, push it down, make sure all the little tabs on the outside go in. There's one that doesn't. I'm going to fold it under, make sure they all go in and under. Okay. Make sure this fits. No, it's a pretty good fit. So, again, I'll put some glue on the bottom of this. Come on, glue. Put the lid back on the glue. Alright, here we go. Good. Wipe the excess off my finger so I don't get it all over my model. And put this on and push it down now. Now you can kind of push from the top of the cone itself, and I'm just going to hold it down flat while I'm pushing from the top of the cone. Make sure it looks round at the bottom and it's touching the outside of the base everywhere that it can, matching up with the circumference. Put your name on both your cone and your cylinder in ink. So this is Geo Monley. And this one's also going to say Geo Monley. You know why we do this, right? So someone else doesn't steal your cone and take credit for it. When you've made your cone, write your name on it in ink. There we go.